Welcome. These will be my thoughts on Runaways, Season 1, Episode 6, Metamorphosis. The episode is rated TV 14. TV 14. So this video there will be spoilers for these first 6 episodes, and hypothetically, potentially, we'll see everything MCU and adjacent leading up to and including these episodes, not for anything that came out after, including any episodes of this show past this one. And I swear, I'm getting we're really approaching me just flat out loving one of these episodes. So I think I'll start by just getting the couple of things out of the way that keep me still from that. So yeah, if you're new around these parts, I myself am very far left, so I don't disagree with the things that Gert is saying about social justice, but I do feel that it's, I don't know, it feels like they kind of just, it's a little bit stock kind of go-to, like just, well, nobody's said anything that was funny in a cringe comedy kind of way for a little while. Let's have Gert say something like that. Again, I appreciate we can be very annoying. I feel like it's a little bit too much of her character, and especially the politics of her character, that they are played for cringe comedy laughs. Let's see. Yeah, the thing with, dating so heteronormative, that really felt like, really? I don't know. I suppose the thing about the planning, the thing about how they're gonna take one car and make 6 stops, because of the carbon footprint. I thought that was fine. And other than that, yeah, I'm really wondering if they're getting better at the effects for Carolina's glowy skin, or if I'm just getting used to it. In this one, I mean, it didn't bother me as much as the very first time. I think it bothered me at least a little bit more than the most recent time we've seen them. The flight, though, that was a little bit rough. Like, I felt like I could practically see the edges of the blue screen, the wires, like that. Yeah. And it just also felt like, I really want to give them benefit of the doubt. It felt a little contrived, this thing of like, I mean, how drunk is she? I guess she had some champagne in the car. Was that the first time she's had any alcohol? Maybe that's supposed to be the idea. Maybe more the, let's see. I don't know. No, it felt like, yeah, the getting her to the edge, falling over so that they can reveal that she can fly. I don't know. Would it have been the worst thing in the world if instead of that, it was that she was trying to rush somewhere and she instinctively flew instead? That might have been, yeah. I think that might cover the, yeah. because other than that, like, I really appreciate, I think they're doing a good job of this thing of maybe this episode more than the ones before. Maybe in part, like, okay, so by the end of this episode, we are almost 2/3 of the way through the first season. So, it's this thing of having a little bit more stuff have happened or happen on screen and such compared to, again, that first episode, it's a lot that it has to set up. But yeah, by now it feels like a more organic kind of unspooling of the plot and the way that, the way that, multiple subplots and such. So, we didn't know what, I think his name was Wyatt, did before this episode. Turns out he was just hired as security. They just made it, sinister for, I mean, honestly, in a way, it was kind of us reading into it, maybe, because, like, he didn't say, Tina, you've asked me to do a lot of terrible things in the years that I've known you, but this is a new low. No, he just said, I mean, when you called me, I thought the job would be something else, but sure, I'll do it. And thank you for thank you for your service, thank you for your money. Like, okay, yeah, it's a slightly unorthodox way to hire, but yeah. And I'll be honest, it's the tattoos, I that's something I've realized about myself. That's something I have to work on. I have to get better at not judging people for having tattoos, just because some people who, do bad things have tattoos, doesn't mean that, all do. And I do want to make it clear, I do, it's more like if I see a white guy with tattoos, I'm more inclined to think, is he like a white supremacist or something? Because, like, some of those people end up in government. I, I was one of many who immediately called BS on the supposed writing of MS-13 across the knuckles of one of the people deported. Anyway, moving on. Right. So yeah, we got that answer, and turns out he's perfectly fine enough guy. Like, put the guy in a suit, have him just talk about, dude, you gotta follow the rules. Like, Tina's kind of intimidating. And suddenly they're like, okay, fair enough. This guy's not a okay. Oh, is that it? He was trying to match her energy, maybe, and we think, well, she's up to no. We know that she is like bad, so yeah, that that might have also been part of during the hiring scene. I mean, the one before this episode. So yeah, we have that, and by the end of this episode, I mean, I share Leslie's concern about what Jonah is saying to Frank. And let's see, yeah, by the end of the episode, we also have that Molly, someone really has to teach that girl how to be a better liar. Can't be your parents, clearly, but someone. And yeah, the thing about, I didn't see anything. Robes, must have been a party. She was there. I think she saw everything. Great going, Molly. You wanna give her any more of a hint? Is that like, you sure you don't? You sure like her adoptive mother pulls her aside before she has, as she's leaving, like her adoptive mother like covers her mouth so she can't yell out, by the way, don't ask to see what's in Nico's or Alex's pockets. There's definitely none. Nothing incriminating in there. And I want to know more about the promising cure. I mean, I know whose DNA it's derived from, but I want to know more details about what's going on with that thing, how the effect it has on Victor. And so too does Hippie Dad. So yeah, it's they're doing a really good job of that TV show thing of like, setting up multiple things, and then like hypothetically, if it's several more episodes before we get answers to several of those questions, okay, they can go for one of the other. I can imagine they should probably give us at least a little bit of information on at least one of them within the next maybe 2 episodes. But yeah, and let's see, I guess maybe what was the other thing? I guess also, I wonder if Carolina is going to be able to deduce much about Jonah. Yeah. I think the rest of this is going to be scene by scene. We'll see how chronological it gets. Let's see. Wow, I super don't remember. Oh, was it maybe the flashback? I think flashbacks to 18 years ago. So, right. No, wait, nah, 15 years ago. The other episode was 18 years ago. 15 years ago, and this is the first time that Jeffrey and Jeffrey's wife, Alex's mom, they are given the property, and they, we also see the first time they help with the process that Victor created. Let's see, and we met Molly's parents briefly. Fairly confident we haven't seen them before. We've just heard talk of them because there was the thing, among other things, we saw their funeral. And we could see that they were like disturbed by what they'd seen. And, I think it's Tina who said, and they're like, we gotta tell someone. And Tina's like, it's your funeral. So evidently they were able to put up with that for 5 years. Like, they were made of fairly strong stuff, or maybe they just didn't get a chance to try to leave Bride before that. But yeah. And good job on the casting. They absolutely look like they could have been Molly's biological parents. Yes, that does bring us to the and we see the blackmail material is revealed to them, and I will say it's that thing of like it makes it gives it a different effect that changes our perception of things that we are only now seeing the first time, because like chronologically this was set before every event depicted in the season opener, excuse me. And yeah, for a while we thought, oh wow, they're really terrible, and now we are starting to see, okay, I mean, they're still agreeing to do terrible things, but we do have that line about, if they could do it to Brooks, they could do it to us or our kids. And let's see, I think that pretty much covers the I think the next thing was the Tina goes to talk to Nico, and the thing about, so it's time, right? And they talk about, changing for the party, and um or wait, or was that afterwards? Maybe that was afterwards. Certainly there was talk of changing for the party, and suddenly Tina is a little bit more okay with Alex. Yeah. But yeah, we have the thing with the the thing with, your training is about to start, and Nico's like, yes, and grabs the wand and follows. And yeah, I it was pretty funny that, she said, just go with the first thing that comes to mind. And it's to make, just to shut up one of her parents. That is, yeah. I was a teenager too, believe it or not. It is, that is a, yeah. Let's see. I think that, yeah, and it's one of those things. I wonder if they told the actress playing Tina to say something and then they just muted the audio, or if they told her to just pretend like she was talking or something. But yeah, and yeah, I'm a terrible lip reader. It looked like she was maybe saying something like, I meant think of a cloud or something like that. But that, yeah. Moving on. Let's see. I think that might cover that. And now I can't quite remember if that was the bit where I remember at least one of the, some of the parents talked about how maybe things are getting better. What was that? Yeah. Moving on. My memory's shot. I think the next thing is the planning scene. I thought that worked. I think they're getting pretty good at these scenes where all of them interact with one another. The six, still feels weird to call them Runaways, because I don't know. Maybe that is, I don't know. We're gonna move on. But yeah. The thing about, what's the plan? Oh, so you just assume that Alex has the plan? Maybe I have a plan. Okay, what's your plan? No, I meant hypothetically. And yeah, he lays out the idea, and let's see. I yeah, the thing about, all of them reaching their hands, and Molly being like, I guess we wouldn't be able to talk to them anytime soon, would we? Which, because she's thinking about how, you know, if maybe Alex's mom is the best chance she has of finding out more about her parents. And yeah, I think that might just about cover. Yeah, the thing about, okay, let's all, put our hands together. And, then with Chase is like, well, obviously I want it. I just didn't realize it would be a binding contract to put my hand in. Yeah, I think that's it for that scene. Oh, right. Actually, come to think of it, I guess I accidentally skipped hyper speed skipped past the bit where that I will also say that was another slight didn't love when Jonah said, "What is a good time to meet my daughter?" Were they thinking we hadn't figured that out? Like, what else would he have meant that other episode when he said, "I can't wait to meet"? Right now I forget if he said Carolina or her, but even if he said her, like, he's talking to Leslie, obviously he means Carolina, and obviously that means that's that he is her father. I don't know what else could possibly have. Yeah, that was yeah. Let's see. I will say, you know, some things change over the years. I've had a YouTube channel for 16 years, or I've been posting videos to it for 16 years. I guess I think I created it 19 years ago. Originally just to leave comments on other people's videos. I'm not sure that you're ever going to find much of me saying Julian McMahon is just bad. Like, even in like the two Fantastic Four movies, he wasn't like terrible as but this is a really, really good use of him. It was a bit more difficult to judge from the episode before this one, but now that he's, out of the rejuvenation thing, and he's walking around, he's interacting with characters outside of this room, and other than in flashback form. I mean, yeah, like, there are certain things that Julian McMahon, yeah, the there were these, stuff like the way that, there's charisma there without, like, charisma tinged with potential threat and danger, like yeah, um I think that might be yeah, and he's just, it just works to have him in stuff where there's some kind of superpower or the like. He was one of the bright spots in those Fantastic Four movies. And to be clear, everyone in the cast, in every major character in the cast of those two movies, I think elsewhere they do really, really good to great work. So I think that might be that. So yes, the we have the, yeah. So Nico and Carolina, applying makeup together, and then there's the oh, I actually come to this thing of it. I think I neglected to mention, yeah, the kiss between or did I mention? I can't remember anything anymore. Anyway, yeah, the kiss between Nico and Alex, and the way that maybe there's a love. Well, let's see. There's more than three, so it's more than a love triangle, because so Alex and Nico like each other. That's pretty well confirmed by now. Carolina likes Nico. Gert likes Chase. Chase likes Carolina. I wonder if Molly feels really left out. But yeah. So yeah, in this episode, we see, yeah, you have the thing about, there's a knock at the door, and the girl gang is all together now, and yeah, visibly, Carolina is upset. She wanted to spend more alone time with Nico. I did also think it worked well. Right, a couple of things. I definitely wanted to mention the yeah, it's clever, the thing about the blood thing for the wand, and also the security, and also the thing about the yeah, she says it's Wicca, and then Tina is like, it's science. And yeah, Nico is like, what I heard you just say was extremely, what was it again? That's yeah, extremely complex magic. Okay, Asimov. I don't do book plugs that much on this channel. If you haven't read any Isaac Asimov, fantastic. Yeah, there's some incredible stories in the I, Robot short story collection. And if you don't hate Harlan Ellison, although it's much less harsh than a lot of his writing. Yeah, make sure you read. I think it is just called I, Robot, the greatest screenplay never filmed, or something like that, where he adapts all of them into screenplay. I was very impressed by how well he did at that. Anyway, but yeah, and I think that does bring us to. So we have the, let's see. Yeah, I think that's everyone at the party. That was also I think it worked really well for this episode. That's, some of the episodes, they can feel like they cover a little bit too much time. The scenes are set a little bit too, yeah, and then with this one, so much of it is the party. All the way all these different plot threads converge. That's, I'm not saying they can do it for every episode, or should if they could, but it really, really helped this one. And also just, yeah, the way that so many different things that, I guess I already said that, but yeah, so many things from earlier episodes really coming together here. But yes, Nico and Carolina talking, and the thing about, she, for so long, her life has been all about, doing right by her mom and the church. And now, what if she's done all this for evil? And that is the thing that a lot of people who try really hard to please their parents, yeah, they come to think such. Yeah. I guess that gets us into the limo. So they arrive, and the driver turns around. You'll always get me with a Stan Lee cameo, yeah, just really, really admire so much of the work of Stan Lee. Yeah, I think that does pretty much get us to the right at the so when they're standing, when Molly and Gert are standing there, and there's the thing about, Gert says like, I get it. I understand the joke. I just think they're really overdoing it. The thing about, like, oh, the this is just like a beauty industry thing, and I get, and Molly says, you look really good, and then she's like, I guess I could do one, like, it's frustrating that that's one of the only contexts that the show so far brings up, you know, political messaging that's that far left, because these are important issues. I'm doing it right now, aren't I? But right, yeah. So we also have the bit where Chase claims, oh, it's just target practice, and they're gonna, oh yes, they're gonna deal with it, and then um, Victor listens in on the conversation, and I think that does get us to the part. Where do we? So the let's see. Okay, so we got to the so the they are right. I like the thing about, okay, Mission Tina's office is about to commence. I know I need work on my code words. See, that, I think, the various, and I didn't personally think, as nerd myself, I didn't feel like they pushed the nerd jokes too far, that they did with Alex as far as like computer stuff, and with Gert as far as well, let's say she's good at a video game, which is considered bad for women, and she like knows the a particular actually, I guess that is where we are at. Let's talk about the so yeah, they Alex and Nico send Gert to flirt with the Gerd Sterndinger, and so they did a really good job on, because like we the audience see, oh, he's reading Metamorphosis, so we understand, but the look, why she says, why she uses the opener that she does, but yeah, like the reaction shot, the Alex and Nico being like, when, you know, yeah, the cockroaches. What better way to show the depravity of man? Because she's not wrong. That's exactly, I mean... Okay, you're getting a twofer. If you've never read Kafka, holy crap. Um, Personally, The Trial is my favorite of what I gotta read more Kafka. Not that The Trial is bad. That sounded like a backhanded compliment. I just mean, there was a while where I was like, I gotta read more Kafka, and then I just got away from it. But yeah, absolutely incredible. And yeah, the let's see, yeah, I think that brings us to, yeah. So the two of the other two managed to sneak in and get into the elevator, and uh, right. Let's talk. So yeah. Chase. Right. I guess I'm trying not to jump around too much. But yeah, we have the part where Jonah is like, trying. He's like, I need, you know, you know, Leslie, I need, your help and to introduce me to my daughter. And then they ask Chase where Carolina is, and he did a pretty good job on, oh, I'm standing here waiting for her, which why would she be anywhere near the drinks? Potential future mother-in-law, I would never even consider helping your 17-year-old daughter access alcohol. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go somewhere that has no alcohol, and therefore Carolina. But and yeah, they really good job on. Okay, so I appreciate that they needed to perhaps reintroduce the idea that that's maybe the line shouldn't have been in the other episode about how he wants to meet his daughter, but yeah. Wants to meet Carolina. But I appreciate they needed to reintroduce it, and then throughout the rest of the episode, he keeps trying to, find a way to, and then he sees her, but then Leslie isn't close enough to get an introduction, and yeah, really, really nicely done, and ends up just talking to her on his own. And I think that does bring us, let's see, yeah, I thought they did a good job on the, so yeah, when all of them are standing, giving the speech, and I mean, Tina doesn't know that she, like, let's see, she knows about hallucinations. She doesn't know about, like, a tumor. So when she hears him groan, yeah, she is probably thinking, okay, someone's being impatient. And then she wishes that she could, use her staff to rewind time maybe or something and not hand him the microphone. But let's see, and that was also, it's I don't know, I can appreciate it's a little melodramatic, but then Victor's under a lot of pressure, so he ends up doing this kind of pulling this move. But what was the other thing I wanted to say there? Let's see. Yeah, and he doesn't just say, that his own wife is cheating. He also says that it's with Robert. and let's see, and then collapses, and they get him to the let's see, the adjoining room, and yeah, that's how all these names. Nope, sure's not coming to me. His wife, Victor's wife, finds out about the tumor, and Chase is, sent out of the room, and the let's see. Yeah, I don't really have more to say about that bit, so I will very quickly finish off. I admire their restraint in not making the magical healing serum glow neon or something. Yeah, sometimes the MCU and Jason stuff can be a bit more toned down. Let's talk about yeah, the thing about so Chase gets up there and talks to Carolina, tries to and I like the thing about how apparently she swiped the bad liquor or something like that. Well, vodka, is that like a play on well water? And the yeah, the yeah, she ends up sitting up there on the ledge, and he's like, if you jump off there, I'll be inclined to jump in after you. And but yeah, the let's see. Oh, that I did also really appreciate earlier, later, whatever, at some point in the earlier, I guess, must have been the thing about how the talk about the thing about the beings of light, grandpa's paintings, they are very intense, and yeah, she's wondering if she's one of the beings of light, which is of course very much like, yeah, if turns out Gibborim are evil, um well, that's really, like, we can understand why she feels especially bad out of the, she's not the only one who has some kind of superpower or something, but the it feels, like, okay, Gert has the Dino Whisperer ability, but she fights back against her parents all the time. Carolina didn't used to. Nico fought back against her mom for the last 4 years since Amy died. So yeah, it is. And I don't think any of the others have, and Molly doesn't remember her birth parents, so there's also not a thing there. Yeah, it is very much, yeah. She's in a unique situation there, and that's again, when it works as a metaphor for puberty. Your body starts changing, and teenage years, it's very common to be like trying to figure out, are my parents good? Do I want to be like them? And the time has come. I must take my pills for the physical pain and such. So I guess I could go off camera briefly. I don't, for people who don't like see people drinking. sorry, I didn't think of that last time I did that. Anyway, I think that does... Right, and for those who didn't watch that video, the doctor was very specific. He said it had to be, yeah, that exact time. Otherwise, I would do it either before or after filming. Anyway, I think that does... let's see. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say about that. Right. I definitely think that there is some connection between the, 100% Jonah's DNA is in the serum that heals Victor. So if he's Carolina's father, that means the glowy stuff comes... Well, let's see. If the drawings were by her grandfather, her maternal grandfather, maybe it's like maybe it's a recessive gene on the mother's side, and every so often sometimes multiple generations will pass between people seeing it, and he saw it maybe as a kid and then never forgot. Maybe one of his parents had it, and so he saw it in there and formed this religion around it. And Victor made it so like yeah, I don't know, it just feels like I don't think it's random. That is it possible that glowing every multiple generations just happens for them, but flying and being able to the other aspects of it maybe are Josiah. Now I forget how to pronounce his name. Jonah, I think is his name. I feel like there's something there. I guess that covers that entire thing. So the I think that does just leave the and the way that Molly keeps texting, she's like the hey, can you give me the information about my parents? And he's like, working on it, smiley face. I know she doesn't realize how much Molly knows, at least at that point in the episode. I'm not gonna lie, if I had seen what Molly had seen of Alex's mom, I think I might interpret it as like a bad omen or something. Like, oh no, she's so much scarier when she's silent. But and then there's like, well, we're running out of time, and an aggressive number, I'm told by people who are better at texting than I am, of exclamation points. And later she's like, so running out of time in what way exactly? And it's very nicely done. Hippie mom has previously expressed she is she feels like the the hippie parents are trying to leave Pride, she's keeping an eye on how the others, act around Gert and Molly. So yeah, really nicely done on that. And she's obviously very protective of Molly in particular, because that was, her parents, Molly's parents, that were killed by Pride. So yeah. Boy, I hope nobody clips that out of context. Okay, if so, I hope they include this next part. I'm not talking about LGBTQ plus Pride. Pride. There we go. Anyway, I think that brings us to the. There's definitely more in the. Yeah. So the part where, you know, yeah, the elevator is headed to the executive floor, and Gert's guard, becomes wary, and he's like, uh is everything, because like the elevators go onto that floor, which is that Tina? Because like, if I miss her, she usually brings to my attention when she's glowering at me. And Gert fires up the arcade uh, machine. I forget what those are called in English, but yeah, the video game, which, if I am understanding correctly, is the Trench Run. I miss arcade machines. I do still enjoy playing arcade games just via emulator, but yeah, a lot of really fun. That's such a perfect way to, yeah. Definitely wanted one of those right after watching A New Hope for the first time. Anyway, yes. So the yeah, then he runs out. It's like, you can't touch that thing, and and then the next time it cuts to it, he's playing it too, and then Wyatt comes down, dude, you can't play that thing, and then when Tina shows up, he's the one playing it, like, hey, we were just checking the machine for see if the on switch still works. Looks like it does. Well, back to work. And Gert trying. I think it's really romantic that, because she didn't hear, she doesn't know that Tina's storming off, because she just heard that her husband has been cheating. It's, yeah. um I think that covers what else was the yeah, the thing about them, the alpha user activate, well, 50% of the her is enough, and the yeah, um she's having second thoughts about, well, are we misjudging this situation? Maybe they don't. And that's, again, like, yeah, maybe in the next episode it will be a conversation. They didn't release it by the end of this episode, and so yeah, by the end of this episode, the let's see, I guess it's primarily, yeah, Nico is really unsure about, right, yes, I'm gonna real quick go over. So Nico is like, would a serial killer really bawl their eyes out like that? Molly might finally let slip that she is worried that she won't find out anything about, or not for a very long time, and she really, she kind of needs, it's important for her to find out soon about the super strength, more details about that. Let's see, I suppose the others might, I wouldn't rule out that Chase might be like, are we sure we want to do this right now? My dad is like being weird, or some kind of, and the newly revealed affair between Robert and Chase's mom might also be something that is gonna have an impact. I suppose it's also possible that there will be new revelations from the footage. Maybe there's gonna be some kind of yeah, because apparently it filmed every time they sacrifice someone, every sacrifice to Jonah, and I guess that pretty much good job on the thing. That was also, it was genuinely funny, the thing about, so she gets, the text on, Gert does, and then, it's like, my mom's coming. Really? I didn't hear anything. See, it says your mom is coming. That was very nicely done on that. And then, it's like, can they get out in time? And it doesn't show right away where they are. And then it cuts and we see, they're under the table. I think that brings us most of the way. Let's see. What else is left? Let's see. I know there's at least one thing left that I really want to talk about. I didn't think it was terrible. It's the kind of thing that could have been really obnoxious and drawn out. But the thing about, our parents are having an affair. What my mom and your dad? No, my mom and my mom? No, and my dad. It's something like along those lines. That, I don't know. It kind of made me chuckle. And I think that does bring us to right. Turns out Jonah, when it comes to consuming the energy of other living beings in order to become young again. I mean, that is what he's doing, isn't it? Stealing youth, because like they're all young. Like they said they weren't always 17, but it seems like they were always young. So yeah, he swings both ways. I think that might bring us let's see. Cabernacle just did a video talking about streamers. Thought he did there's some good analysis in there. And yeah, so there's definitely right. The thing about so yeah, when Wyatt, the thing about like, well, he didn't beat my high score. And Wyatt being like, where were girls like you when I was in high school? And she's like, well, did you check the theater department? Maybe the library? And then he's like, how old are you? And she's like, okay, you made it weird. But yeah, that was really good job on that. I guess that pretty much. What else is there's definitely something else that I really gotta make sure to say. Yeah, I think I have covered the major stuff of the episode, and Yeah. Right. I will also say it felt a little. So when when Gert talks to Carolina, there's that thing about you're not being honest about who you're attracted to. I could say the same to you. Like I didn't really understand, but then when it comes to teenagers, there's a lot I don't understand, which I guess is probably better at my age than if I do understand every. I am also not at the gym with teens, but the I guess it's right. Okay, no, yeah, I think I get it. It's that thing, later, not long after, she says, "Everybody else thinks they know what's best for me," which, yeah, it upsets her when other people um, act like they know better than her for what she needs, stuff like that. That's what it is with. Because that's what her mom did for her whole life, and yeah, and I like the thing about, like, oh, you used to be the rebel and I was the good girl, and now I'm you're not the rebel. That was pretty, yeah. And I mean, I do understand, whether or not, like, I don't know if Carolina, I'm not sure she's, I don't personally think that Nico is interested in her. Obviously, we don't really know yet if she is. It's possible she's bi or pan. Um, she doesn't necessarily have to be straight, but she's definitely not gay because she did, clearly like kissing. Yeah. But I do understand why she feels like, the yeah, there being something, hypothetically, and that was also, when Chase kisses her, and we see her face right after, and yeah, the thing about the yeah, um, and I hope they're not gonna do a thing about how, like, oh, why didn't she, like, stop him from kissing her or something? Like, he didn't really give her very much time to, and I guess the idea is that he was misreading. He thinks he's been getting signals from her when she really does just think of him as a friend, and she just appreciated having a friend. Now because of the glowy skin and all. Yes, I think that covers the. Yeah, I appreciated the thing about how Alex still hasn't forgiven, and he's like, I know too much. He's the boy who knew too much, whereas uh, Jeffrey might be the man who knew too little. Um, but yeah, it's I appreciate the way that they left that, because like Jeffrey thinks that Alex is talking about Andre. He doesn't know that Alex also knows about Destiny. Let's see, but yeah, I will say, when he first, the first thing, yeah, he says, you still have a few years left under my roof. When he said that, I thought this again, but then he goes on to say we should try to make things as pleasant as possible. But yeah, um, and also it's a very classic thing of, like, yeah, the father teaching his son how to tie a tie, or bow tie a bow tie, or belt a belt. And okay, there's very little left. Let's see if I can remember all of it. Otherwise, it will have to go in an upcoming video. Let's see. So we have the thing about where there's the thing about the I did like when, so yeah, Jonah eventually just, right. I will briefly say I did think they did a good job on the thing about there's so many things to talk about. Let's see if I can. Okay, so the bit with how he just, like, Victor goes from collapsing to just walking around, and he's suddenly really happy, and he's like, I got a new lease on life and my family's wonderful. Did that, apparently it was Hippie Dad who erased Frank's memories, so I guess it's not impossible there's some thing of that in there as well. And I guess I should just briefly say I'm slightly torn on whether or not I want to know exactly how old Jonah is supposed to be, because, like, if he once a year needs the full life force of a teenager to, recover from, that seems like more than, that's not like some kind of regular illness. That is like really advanced aging or something. Did he ever play a vampire, like a straight up vampire, Julian McMahon? I think he. I could see it. Or not, if he was looking in a mirror. I think, but yeah, the way that he's so completely different after the injection, really makes you wonder what exactly was in there, and is it gonna last? Is it gonna have other effects down the line? And yeah, the thing about, so Frank, he sees Jonah, and his, a previously suppressed memory pops back up. Hippie Dad may be better at erasing people's memories than he is at lying, but he still needs to work on it. And, after that, I appreciate that Jonah doesn't know that Frank's memory is returning, but, the thing about, like, do you mind if, he goes up, Leslie, there you are, and Frank's like, and I'm her husband, tries to, like, break every bone in Jonah's hand with the handshake, and, like, it's really seem as intimidating as possible. And then Jonah says, do you mind if I steal your wife? Yes, I think he minds. I don't think he's a fan. And I guess that pretty much gets us. Yeah, I like the, Jonah making clear, he says something like, you're on a tight ship. He's not happy about the way things have been run for the last year, or I guess was it further back? I guess it's at least because a year ago he got the sacrifice again, last time, I mean. And there's the what's the other thing? Other than that, we had the thing about Yeah, I think because before that, yeah, he didn't normally. He doesn't usually do. He wouldn't normally go to a school party like this, but he does. Yeah, and the thing about I've seen all your movies. Okay, so you do understand like a Hollywood star's ego. Like you knew what you were doing with the steel wife line. Yeah, because that was before he had decided that he was gonna push this. Because like I'm a little worried that he's gonna get Frank to, you know, I mean, does he need Leslie or is he needs someone on the outside. He can't run this thing himself. But if Frank takes over Pride, if Jonah has lost all faith in Leslie, I could see that. I guess, let's see, there's definitely something else that I really wanted to make sure to say. The let's see. I think maybe it's just me. It might have been like an editing thing or something. I wasn't like, how did Chase see Carolina? Oh, did he see her leave for the roof? I mean, before her parents walked over, maybe, and then he just decided that was the right time to join her or something. Yeah, it's still just these little niggling things that just. But this might be my favorite episode so far. Nevertheless, yeah, I think I did like that. Carolina, there's the thing about she is okay. Yes, thought I could just go in a little bit. There we go. Carolina saying, there's the thing about like, I'm a friend of your mother's. I know all my mom's friends, Can't get her with that one. And let's see. I guess that brings us to the but yeah, ultimately, Leslie comes over and asks him, what are you doing? And he's like, what? Can't a guy talk to his old friend's own daughter?